welcome back Arbor League, and today we're going Landorus hunting in the Master League with level 50 best buddy Chesnaught. Chesnaught is a grass fighting type that hardwalls Landorus due to its typing and general moveset, with 2 H2O types in the back in case of a Rainbow Wing lead. Like and subscribe and turn notifications on, and let's take a look at some battles and see if we can core break some teams. Today's going to be a nice easy day, just having fun with the team. I've got some tricks and tips popping up on the screen occasionally in case I'm talking over what's going on. I know some of these teams are kind of funky, but you got to work with what you got, and I got to make content for you guys to either learn or laugh. So, seeing some crazy things myself in Master League last couple days, some Skeledirge, Gyarados, some other Swampert, some other Gardevoirs, even Tangrowth or Golisopod, which is a pretty interesting pick to me. So as we had the text up on the screen here, this is what I'm predicting to be a Dragon Double Steel line. So unfortunately, we're going to go down because we're ABA week 2 Tina here. Chesnaught can handle Melmetal in the back, but Swampert is a much better option. We can soft lose this, come in and get a bunch of farm on Gyarados for whatever's in the back. It could also be 1 or 2 charms. Some people run Giratina double charm because it's Dragon double steel. So I'm just going to come in here. I've got Dragon Tail on Gyarados again, not Dragon Breath, but Dragon Tail. We're going to hit with a couple of Dragon Claws. They're not opting to throw the Ancient Powers, so we're going to farm all the way down here and come out with a bunch of energy. Still got 2 shields remaining, but there's another flyer in the back there, so Togekiss. We're going to go ahead and throw these Neutra Aqua Tails. The Crunches aren't going to do much, so they're resisted, but they swap out into Melmetal, and there it is. So this is a much comfortable matchup to be in. I know the first superpower kind of hurts, that's why we're saving 2 shields here. Also, this is a winning match for Swampert, so we can even let the first one go. But we're going to correctly shield the first superpower. So sometimes they bait in this situation where there's 2 shields, but it's a good thing that they didn't this time. Otherwise, we'd be shielding resisted rock slides. But now these superpowers are doing less and less, and their defense is going down and down. So now we don't have to go for the earthquakes anymore. We can go for these hydro cannons, taking out the Melmetal, and now we've got almost 2 hydro cannons for this Togekiss here. Not going to KO from this range, but they will opt to shield the first one. We will see if they shield the second one here, and I think I'm going to swap out of here in a bit just for timing purposes because we've got a move on Gyarados here. Go ahead and just throw that Aqua Tail for some chip damage since they used 2 shields. Now we can safely assume that they're in Hydro Cannon range in case we don't get to this next Aqua Tail, which we don't. So we just get to come in here, beat them to the move, and Swampert should be taking care of that Togekiss. It doesn't matter if that charm went through. This will be KOing the Togekiss, and we take that first game. Hopping into the next match here, we see that we encounter Giratina. So this match, again, I'm predicting double steel or 1 charm in the back. And this match is a little bit better for Chesnaught as opposed to, say, Dragonite, for example, where their type would be partially flying and they'd be double resisting the Frenzy Plants. But at least Giratina O here is just Dragon Ghost, so they're only single resisting the Frenzy Plants, double resisting the superpowers, and they hit a little bit harder. So Chesnaught able to get Giratina actually down into the yellow here. This is pretty good. We can soft lose this match again and come in with Gyarados. And because we're at a shield advantage, I'm predicting them to bait, which they do. So not able to farm all the way down, but we're able to shield up the Shadow Ball perfectly here if they send it. Yes, they do. Call it correctly and able to farm down Giratina. Although we're at a shield disadvantage, a Lugia comes in, so we can throw these super effective crunches here, but Lugia is also on Dragon Tail, so these Dragon Tails are adding up on us as well. We have to get to this next crunch and hope for either a shield or to do a massive amount of damage to Lugia. They let it go, and they throw. So this is good for us. So I'm going to shield this up because we cannot Mudshot down, and I need to save some health on Swampert here. Are we able to farm down? Yes, we are, and we leave with a crunch. But there's a Dialga in the back, so this is not looking too good. I mean, the Dialga does shield this one up, but we don't have a shield, and they can just go straight Draco or Roar of Time here. We get to the Earthquake, and even if they shield this, I think this is lost, looking like a game over. Still getting a shield from the Dialga. Not able to get to that Earthquake, and there's a move coming through. Is this the Iron Head? No, it is not. It is the Roar of Time, and we take that loss. So unfortunately, we can make a good comeback here. This is pretty neutral. So what I tend to do in this kind of scenario where the Steel Psychic is going to be taking neutral of these superpowers, just superpower and dip. Because you either get a shield from Metagross. I mean, it doesn't KO, but it does enough damage where they need to shield. Psychic actually coming through, not catching that Meteor Mash, but now a Kyogre comes in. It's a good thing we got an energy lead here, so we do have to go for the Earthquake, because if they don't shield these Hydro Cannons, then it's kind of bad news. Bears, massive amount of damage with that Earthquake, so that's why you don't bait in this match. We can let Swampert go down here now and come in with Chesnaught safely. So, going to be taking super effective from these Vine Whips, resisting these waterfalls. Maybe even try to throw before they get to a move here, just so that we don't have to take surf damage here. But this surf is not going to do that much damage. We can farm all the way down and come out with a couple of Frenzy Plants here. And the Metagross is going to come back in. So again, same game plan, superpower and dip. Gyarados is going to be the hard counter to Metagross here, so we have to see what else is in the back. And we're 2 shields up a Palkia. So Gyarados looking pretty strong here. Don't even have to shield an Aqua Tail at this point. But if we don't, we will get farmed down from those Dragon Tails as well. So going to shield it up just in case, because our Chesnaught is pretty low, and just secure this with a crunch. I mean, a Meteor Mash doesn't KO, and it will take them a while to get to that next one. So coming in, we still have a move on Chesnaught as well. So going to let Gyarados go down here to the Psychic, but we've got enough energy on Chesnaught here with this neutral superpower. Will KO Metagross from this range, and we take that game. Hopping in with Hobbitoid into the next match here, we've got Chesnaught into Melmetal. Pretty neutral lead, probably Dragons or Kyogre in the back, so I'm perfectly fine staying here where it's neutral. We resist everything except for the superpowers. They will chunk after a while, and I should have shielded the first one here because it will do more damage than the second one, because they are at the back-to-back. But if we shield and they bait us with Rock Slide, that's resisted. That's not good. So because they're debuffed themselves, we're just going to go straight Frenzy Plant here. The Melmetal, ballsy for not shielding potential superpowers. They just kind of want to let it go. I guess they're ABA weak as well. So we're not going to shield the next superpower because they are doing less and less, and they've thrice debuffed themselves. So we build up to 100 energy and throw the Frenzy Plant, just because we don't need to throw the superpower anymore. Frenzy Plant still KOs the Melmetal from this range. So at least we win switch with that. And there's a Groudon that comes in. So we're going to bait with the superpower and the Groudon. No shields a potential Frenzy Plant. So I guess whatever they're saving their shields for in the back, which is a Mewtwo. And that's really scary. We lose CMP, and all of our Pokemon can take one Psystrike, but Psystrike basically obliterates anything it touches here. So we can't afford to shield this. They still have advantage over a Psystrike. Just does so much damage. And we lose CMP here, but on the bright side, we get chip damage or a shield with another Hydro Cannon. Not able to get to the next one, but at least we force them to throw their energy here and hopefully come in one shield farm down with Gyarados. The Gyarados is the hard counter to Groudon here, but we've also got Chesnaught and a shield still, so we'll see what they decide to do with their play. Try to catch a Psystrike on Chesnaught here, because I think Gyarados is the win condition here. Able to one shield farm down Mewtwo here. Everything is resisted from Groudon. The Precipice Blades do nothing, Fire Punches do nothing, and I highly doubt that they have Solar Beam. They're also on Mud Shot, and we lose CMP, but that's totally okay. As you can see here, Precipice Blades tickles Gyarados, and we're able to get back-to-back Aqua Tails off on Groudon here. Not going to matter anymore. Getting the shield, and the next one is going to do a massive amount of damage to Groudon. It doesn't KO, but we get it deep in the red. One more Dragon Tail takes it out, and we've got the Mewtwo in the back with 2 more. Hopping into the next one with Hop is a bad rival. Let me know in the comments who your favorite rival is. To be honest, I think they all stank. But this is a scary lead as we see Shadow Mewtwo on the lead. None of our Pokemon want to see this, especially Chesnaught. So we count to 5 and catch a Psystrike on the Swampert. None of our Pokemon want to see this, and Psystrike absolutely obliterates everything that it touches. So we're going to try to build up as much as we can, and they come in with Rayquaza, and I've had enough of that round. So ending that set off with a stink, but we're on to the next one. Into Hydreigon, calling double steal again, and we beat this with our fighting types, and they retreat with Metagross. So we countered on the lead and countered on the swap. Now Swampert they have to KO with 2 moves, so we can take one of anything. Opponent does go full send on the Earthquake, and we get to the Hydro Cannon. So this will be getting a shield, hopefully, because we're baiting the Earthquake, but they do not, and because they do not, we can just go straight Hydro Cannon from here. We will have to shield up the next Meteor Mash, though, because we are getting low, but we are resisting the bullet punches with the water type as we get a shield. Losing CMP on the next one, totally okay going 1-to-1s, as this next Hydro Cannon will either get the KO or the second shield. We still resist the bullet punches down from this range, so opponent opts to let it go, saving the shield. The Hydreigon will probably come back in to farm the rest of us down, but we've got 2 responses in the back for that. Didn't get too much farm here, so coming in with the Chesnaught, and we go for the Frenzy Plant because we don't want to debuff ourselves, but if we bait, this is what happens, and they don't shield. So we could have gotten the KO. Hydreigon's pretty glassy, but now we're walled completely with Primarina, the dark, the water, the dragon, everything resisted up against the water fairy here. So my goal with this is just to chip Primarina as much as possible. I didn't think I was going to make another crunch there, but this Aqua Tail does chip Primarina deep into the yellow, almost into the red. We're Dragon Tailing, but we get farmed all the way down. So now we have to come in with Chestnut and farm this all the way down. So we have to get to back-to-back superpowers here. So shielding this up, we do resist the Brutal Swing on the Hydreigon, but we're getting pretty low, and I should have built up to the back-to-back. But I think the opponent may have realized that we could have, and they don't shield. So that was definitely not over, but we take that win. So hopping into the next one here, we've got a Groudon. So going to have to play this. I think all 3 of our Pokemon can handle this. So again, I may want to either stay in and take a Fire Punch and then catch another one on the water, or you can dip right away. So I'm going to play this out. Bait with the superpower here because we could be throwing a Frenzy Plant. Groudon does decide to use the first shield, and we cannot catch. So unfortunately, we will have to play the 1-to-1s out here. On the bright side, we're getting close to that Frenzy Plant, so just going to throw it straight away, hoping for that second shield. But we're debuffed. Frenzy Plant does not quite KO. 5 Vine Whips barely does not either, and we hopefully catch a Fire Punch on the Swampert. Yes, we did, so able to farm down the Groudon, get some energy on Swampert, and keep some on the Chestnut. It's a good thing we did because Palkia comes in, and I think we learned our lesson this time by not baiting Swampert, doing a mass amount of damage with Earthquake onto the Palkia. We've still got 2 Pokemon that can survive this as well. So this Aqua Tail also barely KOs the Swampert, and we're able to get to the next Hydro Cannon off too. So a real nail biter here. Hydro Cannon will not be KOing the Palkia, but we can just come in with Gyarados and farm down. They will only get to the Aqua Tail here. I just didn't want to come in with Chestnut because I knew they had a move. But Aqua Tail tickling Gyarados, and it's a good thing that I did because there's just a Mewtwo in the back, and this is where we want to see it. In the back, and we are ahead on energy. We can barely survive a Side Strike here, so I don't want to get farmed down, and I might have to make a catch here. So I'm baiting with the Aqua Tail, hoping that they shield. Mewtwo does decide to give up the shield, and we catch a Side Strike on the Chestnut. So that was the win condition here. You don't want Mewtwo to get ahead on energy or anything. Crunch coming through. Hopefully this will be doing enough super effective damage to KO the Mewtwo. Gyarados does KO the Mewtwo, and we're able to take that game again. So still not seeing any Landoruses here, but we see another Gyarados here. Perfectly okay with me. We resist the Dark Crunch and the Water Aqua Tail, but bad thing is that you cannot shield fast moves and those Dragon Breaths. They do let the Frenzy Plant go through, so pretty good for me. I can let this go through. Gyarados not going to be able to farm down even with this Aqua Tail damage, so they decide to retreat and let us build up to back-to-back superpowers. So I should have thrown the Frenzy Plant here because Dialga will shield, and we're able to get the second one off. But because we're debuffed, this won't do as much as it did, but it still does a solid amount of damage to Dialga, and we're able to come in with Swampert with shield advantage. I don't even go for the Earthquake because I just want to chip Dialga as much as possible before they get to their move. They don't shield because they don't have to, but they're going to get farmed down. So shielding this up could be the potential Draco, and we call it correctly. So we're able to farm down Dialga with Swampert and come out with 2.5 Hydro Cannons. That Gyarados is going to come back in, but I don't care because it's in Hydro Cannon range. Gyarados opts to let it go through. One more Mud Shot barely does not KO, so we're going to have to eat an Aqua Tail, but Swampert able to survive the Aqua Tail as well and still get a Hydro Cannon off against this Mamoswine, so this match is a real nail biter. Mamoswine decides to shield the Hydro Cannon, but we've got Gyarados in the back. They need 2 moves to KO because 1 Avalanche does not, unless they have Stone Edge. So we have to call this, but the Mamoswine almost KOs by the Aqua Tail. Shield this up just in case it is the Stone Edge, but it's just the Avalanche. Mamoswine able to get to 1 more Avalanche before going down. Is this the Stone Edge? It is just an Avalanche. It does not KO, but 1 more Dragon Tail does. And we're able to get the Aqua Tail versus the Gyarados up against the opponent. So Gyarados closing strong for us this match, putting in some work. Hopping into the next match here, we've got Chesnaught up against Gyarados. Same lead, so still calling the same kind of team. They decide to retreat right away, and we're able to respond right away with Gyarados. So this match, I should have shielded the Claw here because even though we can take it, doesn't mean we should, because now we're only able to get to an Aqua Tail and a Crunch, but that's not going to cut it because this Dragonite can double shield and win switch. So I'm just going to Aqua Tail here just for some chip damage as we go down. At least we get 2 shields, but we get farmed down and the Dragonite gets a massive amount of energy here. So we can't Mud Shot down, but I think I try to go Chesnaught here just to get a little bit of energy here. I was thinking, you know, Mud Shot's not going to be very good up against the Flyer, but these Vine Whips, in retrospective, are triple resisted. Or at least double resisted up against Flying and Dragon here. So the option was probably better to go Swampert here. So I'm just going to be forced to throw here. I don't want to get hit with another Claw or use another shield. Superpower, taking out the Dragonite, and we can clear the debuff on the next swap. Unfortunately, our clock wasn't up in time, so we will be throwing this debuff Frenzy Plant, and because we didn't choose Swampert, it doesn't do enough as we would like it to, and they're on Dragon Tail and not Mud Shot. So this Sandtomb will be debuffing us, and this probably looks like a losing game here. Yeah, we just had enough of that one. Just trying to showcase Chestnut here and look for Landos, but we're not having any luck, but we are pulling in some leads as we encounter Dialga here. Same plan as before, we just Superpower and Dip. Both of our Pokemon in the back can handle Dialga, and we safe swap into Gyarados. Although sometimes when they do build up a lot of energy, could be the Draco, but I'm calling the Iron Hand. But it's the Thunder, and Gyarados goes down with shame. Rip Gyarados. So sometimes, yeah, you know, you get surprise movesets. And that's just the way it goes. But congratulations to my opponent. I was not angry at that whatsoever here. I'm happier that they're actually staying in up against Swampert. And I know how much you guys love watching resisted moves getting thrown up against Swampert. So Dialga's only stuck with the Iron Head this time. Able to take Dialga out with that Hydro Cannon. And there's a Mewtwo in the back. So I don't know about this one. They have to let this Earthquake go. We're in Psystrike range. We do get the last shield, and we're able to, I don't know, catch a Psystrike or something on Chestnut. I'm not too sure about this one. I just want to let it go down, save the shield for Swampert, but we're just going to go down in flames anyways. So Chestnut in the Master League definitely has a spot in the anti-meta as it can do very well against ground types like Excadrill, Mamoswine, or Groudon, and being a grass type, even being decent against steel types like Metagross, Melmetal, or heavy hitters like Dialga. Although we found little to no Landorus today, we did encounter one off-air, but it was the incarnate form. So still a fun Pokemon to use and part of our obligatory repertoire of Pokemon. If you're enjoying the content, leave a comment and tell me what you think. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on. It really helps me out, keeps me in the algorithm, and lets you know when I post. There will be much more Pokemon Go content to come. But that's all I've got for today, guys. Thank you again, everyone, so much for watching. I've been ArborAndy. Keep your sticks on the ice, and I'll see you buds in the next one.